Well, today our panel is here to talk about art and peace and how they are intertwined, how they're related, how they work together. There's so many different facets of that. So of course, I went to the dictionary, and the definition of peace, as many of you, especially peace studies, may know, is the absence of war, or a non-warring state, which I think is an incredibly, I'm just gonna push this over here, really lazy definition. I think it's very lazy. I think both words are very small, but have really big, really interesting ways to be thought about. I was curious what some of you might have, especially you peace studies people, as a definition of peace. Sure.
Does anyone have a definition they want to speak up or yell out?
The absence of tyranny.
Anybody else?
Respecting humanity.
Respecting humanity. Thank you.
Positive contribution to others.
Oh, I like that one a lot. Giving back. Well, then I looked up the, one more.
Love. I'm going to say love yourself and love others.
Love is a really big part of peace. Thank you both for that. Harmony, coming together, oneness. Resolve, I like that one too. There's so many you can see. We can go on and on for this all day. Let's try art. Let me give you the definition in dictionary.com of art. I had to read this one because it's a little long. The quality, production, expression, which was underlined, and I like that, or realm, according to aesthetic principles of what is beautiful, appealing, or more than ordinary significance. So art also has a much broader definition, I would say. We have art projects, we have the art of living, we have the art of dining. There's so many ways to express ourselves. And I believe that each one of us here, all of you, and you and my panelists, are all artists. And beyond that, I believe that every person here on this planet, possibly every living creature, could be argued to be an artist. What if each one of us and each person on this planet believed that they were an artist? That they were this creative, powerful, and as my mug this morning said, incredible, with unlimited potential, creator of their own life, and that their contributions affected their own life, but everyone else's here on this planet. I wonder, if that were the case, could there then be peace? Well, I have a couple of examples for you about how humans, beings, express themselves within their life, use their life as their art. And just as an artist chooses what colors they'll put on their palette, on their canvas, just as they choose which clay they'll use and how they'll form it, we all have those choices every single day. You know, will we choose the red of anger, or will it be red of love? Will it be blue of sadness or blue of tranquility? We all have those choices and the power to make those choices. One time I was at a conference, and it was a small conference, but it was with some really illustrious peacemakers. It's a little bit intimidating. There was Mary Robinson, the former president of Ireland, Richard Branson, who's such a proponent of peace, Ben and Jerry, you know, world peace ice cream. And they do quite a bit in the peace realm. And there was one other man, whose name is Oret Van Heerden. He's the president of the Fair Labor Association out of Geneva. So he goes around the world protecting workers' rights, making sure they have good conditions and fair pay. And he looked at me and he said, you're the one who started that Center for Living Peace. What's your stance on peace? And I took a deep breath and said, Oret, I have the utmost respect for you, Mary Robinson, the people who are out on the front lines creating peace in our world every day. But I started the Center for Living Peace based on the belief that peace starts right here with each and every one of us, that we can be the change we wish to see in the world. And that has a ripple effect that goes out into the world. And he looked at me and he said, oh, yeah, that's what I did when I was tortured. Well, I'd never heard that before. I'd never heard anyone tell me they were tortured. So I said, Oret, can you back that up a little bit and explain that to me? Oret grew up in South Africa. And when he was in college, it was in the era of apartheid. And he said he couldn't stand it anymore. He saw one of his friends being beat to the ground one day. So he organized students at his college, much like this one, to get together and to rise up against apartheid. And then he organized other colleges. And he said he did this knowing that it was against the law and knowing that if he was caught, he would be tortured, he would be jailed. But he did it anyway. And he was caught. He went on to tell me that when he was in jail, because he was an ultra-marathoner, he had a really high tolerance to pain. So they would torture him in ways that he said I could never imagine, in ways that he wouldn't even go into. But he said that what he did, what he chose as they tortured him, was to treat his torturers with respect, to treat them like brothers. And he said he called them sir. As they hurt him, he just looked at them with love. He let them continue the torture, do whatever they chose. And he calmly, peacefully continued to show them respect. Well, one night he said they had beat him so badly that he blew up. He had so much fluid in his body, and he was really quite sick. So the guards by this time were starting to respect him. And one of them went out and got a prescription in his name, the guard's name, and brought it to Oret and said, here, take this, and massaged him to help the fluids pass. Then they said to him, Oret, look, they're going to change the guards, so give up. It's only going to get worse. Please, don't let this happen to you anymore. And he calmly looked at him and said, thanks, but I'll be all right. So a new shift came in, did the same thing, and he responded in the same way. And this went on for days, until finally, because of the relationship, because of the energy of Oret saying, you are me, I am you, no matter what you do to me, they looked at him and said, Oret, we're going to let you go. We've never seen anyone withstand this pain. We've never seen anyone be so tough and so peaceful. And as they let him go, they stood in the line and they clapped and honored him. Later, he kept that prescription because what they had done was also against the law, was against treatment of humans. He ended up suing them. They went to court, but they would play cards. They had built such a friendship during this time that they would go into court, talk about what had been done, and come out during the breaks and eat together and play cards, and said no one had ever seen this before. So Oret made those choices He chose to be the artist of his own life. And imagine, if you could all just close your eyes, imagine Rhett's life if he had chosen to be angry, if he had chosen to fight back. And then imagine the canvas of what he did create and what he continues to create. I was lucky enough to travel with him in India and to go into government offices and meet government officials. And I was so taken aback because he spoke with them about love, which I could never imagine happening in a government office. So I have one other example. My son, when he was entering junior high, 7th grade, he had grown quite a bit over the summer, and it was one of those first cold days, and he had grown tall and skinny, so his pants still fit, but they came up to about here. And I was, when he came down the stairs, I said, honey, you cannot go to school like that. Those pants don't fit you anymore. And he just calmly looked at me and said, Mom, I'm in an art school. Nobody cares what you wear. In fact, it's kind of cool to be different. And I realized that was my own fears from my experience in 7th grade with my high waters, thank you very much. But he knew he was an artist. He knew how powerful he was, and that it didn't matter what he looked like. It just mattered who he is and the choices he made as he walked through the day. I have another example. I was lucky enough to hear His Holiness speak 2 days ago in San Diego, and he brought up a Buddhist monk who he knew who had been captured, similar to Orette, and held in prison, and he said to His Holiness, I was in danger, many dangerous situations in jail. And His Holiness said, well, what do you mean? What type of danger was it? And he said, it was in danger of losing my compassion for my captors. Again, I think that's another powerful choice, really powerful choice of choosing peace, choosing love, versus choosing anger or resentment or unforgiveness. So, I hope each one of you today, as you walk through the world, will remember that you are Mr. or Miss Incredible, that you have the power of a choice in everything that you do, in everything that you say, in every color that you bring to your life affects not just you, but all of us on this entire planet. And will you choose peace? I hope so. And thank you all for being here. Thank you to Chip and Fran for having me.